welcome to the channel, everyone. We're finally going to get started work on the IS300 rebuild, kind of a resto mod type thing that we're going to do here. This is another long-term project, so I appreciate everyone's help just by subscribing to this channel. It'll help tremendously. First thing we got to do, especially here in my state of Texas, is I'm going to have to get this vehicle registered. In order to get it registered here, we have to get the car fully inspected. So we do have some issues with the car, especially the headlights and the loose front bumper and all that good stuff. So not only that, but I have a bent rim over there on the passenger side that we're gonna have to replace. I decided not to go with original rims. I did buy some aftermarket rims that I'm currently customizing for this build. We just got to get everything ready here. Make sure all our lights are working. Windshield wipers are great. They spray, all that good stuff. Right now, I'm not too worried about any inspection lights or engine lights on the dash. Usually, the inspection center would say, hey, you got to check engine light, and they would automatically cancel you out. Right now, it's kind of a good time because they're not actually driving your car into inspect it. They're just doing a drive-through where you actually drive it and flash some lights and all that good stuff, make sure everything's working. They don't actually look inside your car, so that's a good thing. So first thing we got to do is we're going to remove that bumper. I already got kind of a head start, or the car did for me. The bumper's already loose, but I got a head start in the fact that I already unplugged those fog lights, and it's just a matter of just pulling this bumper off right now. So we're going to remove that bumper, and we're going to change out those headlights. Before we do that, let me show you the headlights we're going to go with and kind of the theme that I'm thinking of on this car. Let me get this over here. So this is basically where we're going to be going with. Is these aftermarket projector kind of black surface headlights here. So we'll be installing this in this car, and we got to transfer everything over from the original light. So I'm going to try to make my videos as short as possible going forward. I know the previous videos were very detailed. This one I'm going to try to go a little bit further, or a little bit. I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker. So my videos will be shorter. So if you see something on here that you need more information on or some questions, just leave the comments down below, and I'll make sure to answer those. Right, so typically from removing this front bumper, this is a bad example of it, but I'll kind of point it out. You got two bolts here that hold it to the fender here. You got several bolts on the other side, the underside here, holding on to the, I guess the engine pan or whatever you want to call it. It's plastic. And then you got a couple bolts here and one there in the middle. So in my case, everything's already done, so it's just a matter of me lifting it off and pulling it away. Alright, so I'm going to get started with the passenger side. Since it's a more complete assembly, there's nothing broken here. That side over there has got some broken pieces already, so I figured do the one that has everything on it for the video. Everything's going to be held down by a 10 millimeter. So we're going to remove this top one here. I'm going to take off this metal bracket because we're going to reuse it. Now the next two, there's two more nuts on this side underneath the fender well that we have to get to. There's one on top and one on the bottom. These are a little bit more tedious to get to because you're going to have to loosen up the fender well. Just to get behind there. The top one's a little bit more difficult to get to, but if you take your time, you should be able to get it. Alright, so what I did off camera is took off the two bolts, or not the two bolts, the two nuts that hold the housing from here on the back side. You can access that through the fender well. Snap the light out. Kind of try to wiggle her out here. There we go. Alright, so you just want to get out long enough or far out enough as you possibly can. It should give you enough access to disconnect all the bulbs on the housing. Alright, so we're here on the bench and we're going to transfer everything over to the new headlight. So I put them side by side here, just kind of show you what's going to go on. This one initializes LED bulbs for the turn signal and some daylight running lights. So that's what these are for here. The kit also comes with, I guess, voltage stabilizers, so you don't get a warning on your dash for a missing light bulb. So it's pretty easy. They give you some connectors for that. But everything's going to be used here except for the high beam. It has an integrated high beam already built into it. It comes with the kit. So everything else is just kind of a transfer over. Remember the two lights over here, we got to figure out which one was a signal light and which one was just a parking light. So I believe the bottom one, this is the bottom one from, if you look at the car, I believe that's the parking light and this was the turn signal. Hopefully. Okay, so off camera here, I finally wrestled the HID harness into its place from here, where the ballast connects all the way up to here. More to note, the easiest way to possibly do this is to remove the aluminum cover off of this plug. That's tough in itself, but it will come off and it won't damage anything taking it off. So it was just a matter of me snapping it back on. The only difference is this little piece here fits underneath this little, I guess there's a little bracket or sleeve here. And what I did is I just kind of fit it in there and just make sure it's clipped. But this cap in itself, it snaps onto the housing. So that's going to be your best way of snaking it through. Good luck trying to get it through here with the cap on. So now it's complete. Now it's all a matter of going back to the car, connecting it together, reverse order, and making sure that we got our two connections right. This one and this one here. Make sure we got the right one. So it might be some trial and error here. But I'll meet you over at the car. I'll install both of them and we'll test them out. Alright, so we're here back at the car. I'm just going to assemble the light in here, plug everything up first. And then I'm going to do the other side, of course, and then we'll come back and test out the lights first before we actually bolt anything up. So we don't want to go through that again. I'm going to start with the bottom one. I believe this is the turn signal. And it's probably the shortest one, so I'm going to start with that one. I kind of just work my way around to each plug. Probably starting from this side, going this way. But either way, how you want to do it. It's going to be pretty tight. So some of these may not stretch from the harness, like this one here, which is your driving light. And so I'm just going to plug what I can and hopefully reach around from the back side and get the rest of them. Alright, so it looks like I have a issue with the signal light on the driver's side here, so gonna have to investigate that and see if I got everything connected correctly. The issue is the classic burnt bulb, so that's all done. So I figured we'll move forward with the front bumper. So I went ahead and removed the fog lights, and they need to be restored. They're really dull. So we're going to do that next. I'm just going to use a pretty simple procedure here. I'm just going to use some 3M 2500 grit sandpaper. I'm just going to fold it up, you know, where it fits my hand or the way I'm comfortable using it. And I got some soapy water over here, so this should be pretty cut and dry. Let's see. What I like to do is try to get it all wet a little bit, make sure it's wet, and then I'm just going to go ahead and slowly just peel away all the nastiness off this lens here. Shouldn't take too much. Alright, so when the sanding's done, I just use some glass cleaner. This stuff here is what I use. I'm just going to spray it down real good. Let that kind of drip off. And then I'm just going to come across. And you should have a kind of like a hazy look on the lenses here, which is what you want. Alright, so now what I'm going to do now is use some duplicator clear coat for these. I'm going to do a fairly medium coat, the first one, and then I'll do a second coat and we'll be done with it. We'll let that first coat somewhat dry. Alright, so the next thing I wanted to do is replace the back bumper. I didn't want to cruise around with a messed up bumper, so I'm just going to go ahead and replace it since we already did the front one. Yeah, I just don't want to cruise around with a kind of a hole in the bumper there, so that's just not cool. Anyway, it's pretty simple. I usually start on one end here, and I already had a look at this, and the tab's already broken, but there's a screw right here that's going to hold in this side. And then right here, it's kind of important to pick this up, but let me see if I can get in here. There we go. And so here, you got this little grayish tab here, and it's on a ball pivot. So you just want to kind of snap it out of place, because this piece here, if I can get this piece here, we're going to have to transfer it over to the new bumper. So we're done here. Of course, there's going to be plastic clips here at the bottom of the bumper that hold up to the car, and I'll just get those off camera. But the next thing we're going to do here is just replace these taillights. We have to get to a clip over here on this side. So you're going to have to pull out the taillights. So all I'm going to do is they got these little covers here. I'm just going to get a little pick. Get under these covers real quick, just like so. Drop it on the floor. Alright, next on the floor. So after that, you got two 10mm bolts here you're going to take out. And so the tail light should just, at this point, just kind of pull and flip out. So they fold down this way and then lift up, and they should come out. And the clip I'm trying to get to here is this one here. And it looks like this tab is broken as well. It's this guy here. So we got to release this piece. Alright, so after you got everything disconnected on both sides of the bumper, and then underneath you got a bunch of clips, and I believe there's a couple bolts down there as well on each side. And you have everything loose. Next thing you gotta do is you gotta get into your trunk and remove this plastic piece. It's held on by just 5 plastic clips, and this thing just pulls up. After that, next thing you gotta do is you gotta remove 2 clips on each side here. There'll be one here, one on this side as well. It's the same clip. And then you're able to access the bolts that are holding on the top piece of the bumper here. And they're kind of hidden behind here. They have long studs, so you're going to have a long reach socket like this. It's a 10mm. So it'll be one here, and then the same on that side. Alright, so before I was going to put the back bumper on, I noticed that the side parking lights were missing, along with this whole entire harness here. Here locally I'm having a hard time finding parts for this car because all the junkyards are supposed to be your friend, but I can't find any of these cars anywhere. So I went ahead and found some connectors off of another Toyota. It was actually another Lexus off a RX 300 or whatever it was. But, I was able to get connectors and actually create and make my own harness. I guess any of you guys that are watching my channel that own an IS, I'm not totally sure where this harness actually goes, so I just ran it through the crash bar all the way across the other end. Figure it would be more than protected that way. I put wire loom through the whole thing, so, something better than what Toyota or Lexus had. They had this rubber piece probably before the sleeve, so I don't know. I just noticed that. I was like, hey, there's something missing here. I can't connect my lights. What's going on? So that's what happens there. So now I could go ahead and finish putting on the new bumper on here. Alright, we finally got the rear end finished here with the bumper on. It looks like all the parking lights are finally working again. Yeah, they're all working. Also put some LED tail light lenses, or not lenses, but bulbs back here. So I think we're good in this end. I think all we have left to make inspection is to put on all those new rims and tires, get those mounted and get them on this car, and we should be good from there. So that's next. Alright, so the next thing I gotta do is replace all the rims and tires on this car. I went with an aftermarket rim. What I wanted to do is try to capture what was on here already, but more of an updated version. So I did find something similar that was a little bit more aggressive, and I have repainted these, so let me know what you think. Here they are here. I repainted them the black color. I wanted more of a gloss, darker black, and then I added a little detail on these as well. That's going to show the color of the car. So that's a hint of the color. They're a little bit dirty because I just got them mounted, but we'll see if they fit on here and see if they look good. But let me know what you guys think. I also forgot to mention that I'm trying out these tires. They're Achilles. Running a 245 40 ZR17. I never tried this brand of tire before, but I'm always a sucker for trying new stuff. So hopefully these hold up. If they don't, then I guess later down the road we'll upgrade them. Alright, so I guess if you learned anything in this video, of course I'm here in Texas, so we don't get much rust. But the rims I bought, the stock pattern on most Toyotas are 5 by 114.3 bolt pattern, and the rims I got are 5 by 112, which fit on here, but you have to make some adjustments. Also, my hub on the new rims is different. I have a hub, I believe it's a 72, and Toyota, or this model here, is a 60. So you're going to have to use, in my case, you're going to have to use some rings to center the tire on, and to get the offset of the bolt pattern fixed up, you have to go with what's called a wobble lug nut, and these move by 2 millimeters each one, so it's going to perfectly center up our wheel. These are perfectly safe. I've used these in the past, have zero problems with them, so just thought I should add that in. But like I said, I'm here in Texas. We don't get big deal of rust here, but if you're, wherever you're located, you're probably used to rust. So once we put these rings on, the best thing you can do here is to get a wire brush, or for me it's going to just be a cloth just to clean it off, but you want to remove any rust around this ring as possible. So here I'm just going to rough it up. And after we're done with that, mine's just basically surface rust. What you want to do is get a little bit of grease and actually put grease around this ring here. That's to prevent anything from sticking. You know, when you gotta pull off the wheel later, it'll be a whole lot easier. And then it prevents rust too. So it's up to you. You can press this ring into your rim, or you can just put it right here on the hub as it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it on the hub on mine, but either way works. So you got to make sure that you get the right size, that this thing doesn't move at all. Well, I mean, move up and down, side to side, right? So this should work perfect. I got the perfect size. So now we can put the rim on and center it up. Alright, to snug these on, I'm not going to use a gun to snug them on. I'm actually going to use a torque wrench on these. I feel it's very important to actually, since we're using wobble bolts or lugs, that you get the exact load and pressure and the tightness on this. So I'm going to use a torque wrench instead. So that should do it. I'll do the other side off camera, and then we got to do the front one, and we should be set. Alright, so I got the rims put back on, tires are mounted, all that good stuff. This is the state of the car so far. I think we got everything done that we needed to do at this point, just to get this thing on the road. The rims sit on here fine. They're just, they actually fit pretty flush with the fenders. You can kind of tell here. So the front tires, I kept the stock size. They're the 215s, and then the rears are the 245s. They sit pretty good in there, but now it gives me a good idea what type of suspension I need to go with and how much I can lower it. So it's quite a bit in the back, of course, and the front's not too bad, but everything's done for now. Still a long way to go, of course, but this is kind of the first step. We still got a lot of other things to do, like the interior and the bodywork and such. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining me on this one. Subscribe, of course. I'll be bringing more videos here soon. Thanks for watching.